Hey, good Wednesday afternoon, everyone. I'm Fox 19 Now First Alert Meteorologist Brad Maushart with a 19 at noon weather show. And today, we started off a little soggy outside. A lot of you saw quite a bit of rainfall outside this morning. Some areas picked up over an inch of rainfall, including the International Airport. Finally, it seems like we've been waiting for that particular station to pick up some sort of substantial rainfall, because up until now it was a couple hundredths, maybe a tenth. At best, I think we saw about 39 hundredths of an inch of rainfall and one fell swoop this month. That was back on the 12th. Yesterday we saw a third of an inch, 2 days ago we saw a third of an inch, and then last night we officially reported 1.09 inches of rain, and that turned our deficit, which we were running for the first 15 days of the month, and we got us back into the black. We're now running a surplus of 16 hundredths of an inch. We added more rainfall, as you probably know, this morning if you've been out and about. Little stormy start to the day, and we're not done with the rainfall by a long shot. We'll see another chance with some heating out there. You can see behind me some of those storms already starting to pop back up. Let me go ahead and push this up so you can actually see what I was just talking about. 1.09 inches of rain at the airport, so giving us a little bit of a surplus for the year now. The clouds behind me have thinned out. We're seeing a lot of sunshine for the most part, and that's going to allow temperatures to warm up pretty quickly into the mid-80s this afternoon. And with that, it's going to kind of basically recharge the atmosphere for round number 2 this afternoon. Some areas could see a strong storm or two. We do have a marginal risk. The Storm Prediction Center has put us under a level 1 out of 5 on the severe weather scale for just damaging wind threat later on today. So keeping our eyes on that. These are going to be those typical pulse-type storms. They'll pulse up very quickly in intensity. They'll peak and then kind of collapse on themselves. And when they do, they can, some of that damaging wind can rush out. So something to keep an eye on there. Cheviot, big winner or loser out there this morning. These are just today's rainfall totals. This isn't yesterday. This is just today. From this morning's rain, Cheviot 1.74 inches of rain. Versailles saw almost, and this was updated this morning, so the Versailles total, I know you're seeing some rain again right now, or you should be close to seeing some of the rain that's pushing in with round number 2. That does not include any of that. Rain chances, like I said, don't hang up the umbrella just yet. We have another, like I said, full week of rain chances. It does look like by Wednesday and Thursday of next week, we try to turn the page a little bit on this soggy stretch. We've had a chance for rain. We've had some dry time like what we're seeing right now. That's going to be a similar forecast here for the next 7 days all the way through Tuesday. And then be careful what you wish for, because even though the rain chances will finally drop by Wednesday and Thursday of next week, it's going to be replaced by high heat and high humidity. Right now, mix of clouds, some blue sky out there right now. We're already jumping back to 84 degrees. Over the next couple of hours, we'll hit our daytime high more than likely, right around the mid-80s. I have us at 86 today at the International Airport. That's where we should end up topping out. And then more storms will start to develop here in the next couple of hours. So we already have one of those storms off to the west. You can see the cooler temperatures there in Batesville at 77, Richmond. Some cloud cover drifting over downtown right now is associated with that storm that's been pushing into Decatur County and Ripley County. That one, nothing strong or severe from it, but again, we do have some of those storms rolling in. This one really losing a lot of its punch out there, but you can see the little swirl associated with that. If you keep your eyes squinted there between Indianapolis and where that storm is right now, little bitty swirl out there. That mesolow swinging through is going to spark the next round of storms, and again, best chances between about now and 6. To see those storms start to pop back up. So a little bit of daytime heating, and we'll get things going again over the next few hours. Looking here, you can see, again, all the morning rain is kind of falling apart, too, in eastern Ohio, and we're just finding ourselves in a nice little break, but don't expect that to last long with more storms expected this afternoon. Marginal risk today, that's in most of the area, well, the entirety of the area, most of the Ohio Valley. Marginal risk for damaging wind threat, as we mentioned. That threat also gets extended into the day tomorrow. Let's go ahead and go off script here. I'll just start controlling the box because I did not have it set up for this. And tomorrow there is also, bear with me here for a second, the marginal risk that includes just about everybody with the exception of our far northwesternmost communities. Cincinnati still under the marginal risk for Thursday, too. Going even more off script, let's go ahead and head back down. I want to see what's going on with this storm. I haven't seen any updates yet on this, and that is good news. I know it doesn't seem like it's good news when you're talking about the tropics, but we were watching this yesterday. there's a little swirl pushing through the state of Florida, and right now it looks like, just off my eye here, that swirl is over land. That's good news. If it would have moved into the Gulf, there was a chance that that could have developed into our next named system, which we're already up to D. Dexter would have been the next name. Some of the storms that happened earlier this year, they were out in the middle of the Atlantic. You probably didn't hear much about them because they weren't really an impact to anybody, unless you were a fish. So a lot of the storms that happened earlier weren't much of a concern. Keeping an eye on this, looks like, again, where that swirl is. Let's see what the National Hurricane Center has to say about it. See what the chances here are. It has it over land. There's still a chance it could pop back out over open water, so we're going to keep an eye on this one. Here, in particular, in Cincinnati, not because it's going to be necessarily that strong of a storm. I think at best it had a chance to get up to tropical storm strength. Again, more so that would be a threat for the Gulf Coast, but here in the tri-state, you could see where that eventual storm path would head, and thus why that might be an issue for us as we work out through the end of this week and head back into the weekend. These are what we call the spaghetti plots. You've probably heard us talk about this before. Let me just make sure this hasn't even gotten upgraded further yet. Let's see here. Oh, it opened every single tab. Bear with me as I close 75 forecasting tabs. Let's see here. Let me close that out, close that out, close that out, close that out. Hopefully your day's off to a good start. I haven't gotten any questions or complaints yet, but I'm sure they'll start rolling in now. Let's see. If you do have any questions, just shoot me a message as always. Yeah, still a 40% chance for both the next 2 days and 7 days, so that didn't change at all. It is still just being known as Infest 93L. So what that means, sometimes you'll see that it gets like a number and an L. The L's for a low. Invest, it's a number they give it because they're investigating it, right? That number goes up as you work your way through. The next couple of storms, you'll see that number change. But generally what it is, it's a storm they're investigating to see if it's got any tropical characteristics, be it a closed, center and eye or whatnot, to be, hurricane strength, the higher winds, 74 miles an hour, greater. So invest is kind of that first step before you hit tropical depression. So that's what that means, Invest 93L. And this one, it does not look like much is happening, but it is, they have the center just offshore there, right around the panhandle of Florida, between Tallahassee and Panama City. So let's hop back over here and see if we can see that a little better. So that's where they have the center of the low right there, where the X is. So again, right between Tallahassee and Panama City. It's over land, but there is a chance if it continues that western trek here, you see where the models kind of take it. It does go briefly over water, so that's good news. Because if it came all the way down here, if we were talking all the way down this way through the Gulf and then came back up like that, then we'd have bigger problems, right? Because it would have more time over water. That water is already bath temperature out there, so that could lead to bigger problems. But right now it's good because it's not going to have much, fetch to get across that water before it hits, gets back into Louisiana or so in the next couple of days. But this is why I bring this up. Typically don't talk a ton of tropics here in Cincinnati, unless it's something really notable, because you're like, why are you spending so much time on a tropical storm? Well, this one, look at the path. These are what we call spaghetti plots. You want to know why they call them that? Because it looks like spaghetti. That's fun. If you're looking out there, again, you can see where every single line on here, I guess I should be a little bit more specific. Yes, it looks like spaghetti, Brad. Every single one of those lines is a different weather model, and it shows you the path that particular weather model sends a storm to. In this case, you can see that there's a pretty good cluster of those models right here. When they're all kinds of all wonky in every which direction, yeah, one's over here in Kentucky and one up here by St. Louis. Yeah, okay, that, not much going on. But when they all kind of bunch up like this, it gives you a pretty good idea when things kind of come together there, that is where it's trying to take the storm. So it gives you a really good idea of where, with all the different models, rather than looking at just one, because if I'm looking at just one and it's that one, I'm going to say, well, it's going to be in eastern Kentucky, but the rest of the models point to Arkansas or, southern Indiana by the time we hit this weekend. then I would be wrong. So that's why we like to put everything kind of on the spaghetti plot. It gives you an idea where the models are agreeing or not agreeing. In this case, there's pretty good agreement. It's going to push through this little portion here of the northern Gulf near Gulf Shores, Alabama, Biloxi area, and then maybe make its way over here towards New Orleans. Again, not as it might get a storm. It might get it named. It might just stay at, maybe a depression. Right now, it's nothing. It's just an invest, but we'll keep our eyes on that because if it does go over open water, there is that chance, as you know, that with these kind of storms, they could rapidly intensify, but it's just not a lot of water to work with there. Keeping an eye on it, but especially here in the tri-state, even if it's not only going to be a tropical depression or maybe even a tropical storm, because what it can do is it pulls up here through the Mississippi Valley and into the Ohio Valley by this weekend, is it could increase our rain chances. And they were already high to begin with, but not just the chances necessarily for rain, but also increase the amount of moisture we'll have to work with, right? And if it brings up that tropical moisture, we already have a threat for flash flooding this weekend. The Weather Prediction Center has us already under a slight risk, a level 2, for flash flooding Saturday and Sunday. If this system comes up to kind of reinforce that, we could be looking at some problems outside because it's already been soggy. We just showed you some of the rainfall totals. Some areas are expected to get a couple inches of rainfall anyway this weekend, so you start to tap into some tropical moisture, and we could be talking problems this weekend. Something to keep an eye on for Saturday and Sunday with this. For right now, like I said, our threat is going to be a severe threat, and that's just a marginal risk outside today. Nothing right now out there is strong or severe, but you can see that little storm over in Switzerland County, that eastern corner of Switzerland County. Let me get my pointer back out. This one right here has just developed over the last 30 minutes or so. So this whole loop is an hour long, and you can see for half of that, this was not there. So doing math, that would put it at about the last half hour or so. This storm has just popped up, and that's what we're going to start to see here over the next hour or so as these scattered storms developing with some of that daytime heating. Another one back down here just outside of the area west of Carroll County. That's where we could see an isolated severe threat. Best chance is going to be between now and about 6 o'clock. Now that's good news if you have plans tonight to head over to the the TQL Stadium, 7:30 kick, and it could get messy. See what I'm doing there? Some people get that joke. Some people have no idea what I just said. FC Cincinnati hosting Inter Miami CF. The biggest rain chances are going to be before this match starts. That's good news. Bad news if you're trying to get out and about and find a parking spot, maybe walk to a bar, walk to a restaurant before you head into the match. But by the time we kick off that match at about 7:30, most of the rain should be east of downtown and pushing away. So that would be good news if you do have tickets to this match, and I know there's probably a ton of people that do. It doesn't matter that it's on a Wednesday. There's one person in particular, whether you like it or not, that people are going to be coming into town to see. So with that, here are the storm chances. You can see by 5 o'clock, this model in particular puts a storm right over downtown, or at least very close to it, right? Kickoff at 7:30 means they'll probably start, getting out there in the field and warming up sometime between 6 and 6:45. So that is 5 o'clock. By 6 to 7 o'clock, you can see all that storm activity starts to push east. Again, great news if you're heading down to the game tonight. Don't get me wrong, it's going to be very muggy, very mild outside, but even by as early as 6:30, a lot of that rain in this particular model, which sometimes I like, usually it's good, has a lot of that rain pushing out of the area, and even as far east by 7:30 is Brown County. So that's good news if you have tickets to the match tonight, because they were probably not cheap. We're going to wait through the day tomorrow, though. Here comes round, I don't know what round we're on, 500 of the rain chances. That'll push in through the day Thursday, just in time for the morning drive. The earlier run of this model did not have heavy rainfall in here early in the morning. It held off until the afternoon, until I have it written down, until after 1 p.m. But this is, we'll keep an eye on this and see how that develops. But either way, just plan on some storms as early as your morning commute. You might want to head out the door a couple minutes early. As you saw outside this morning, it doesn't take severe storms to slow things down around here. Rain will bring your commute to a screeching halt. So give yourself some extra time tomorrow, just with this newest run showing you that rain pushing into the heart of downtown at 7 o'clock. That would slow things down. We catch a little bit of a break until 1, and then the next round of storms pushes back in. and pushes through. So let's slow that one down just a bit. You can see it has storms in our westernmost communities as early as 1. It brings that broken line, and again, I'm going to tell you, one of these days I'm going to find the switch to the deflector shields out here downtown, and I'll be able to control the weather. I just wish I could do that. Because this has another 7-10 split over downtown, meaning that we stay dry and everybody else gets the storms by 2, 3, 4 o'clock as that broken line pushes on through. You can see some rain over there to the east, rain to the west, but downtown is just fine. You can see then the line then redevelops and solidifies right after it passes us. I don't get it. But we'll see if that happens. Last couple of rain events here, that hasn't been the case, but the 7-10 split, I don't know what a flit is, split could get us tomorrow with the rain chances, because look at the line. I mean, it's solid right after it gets past us, but there's nothing over downtown. So we'll see how that plays out. Either way, just expect storms through tomorrow afternoon, and much like today, by 5 to 6 o'clock, most of the heaviest rainfall is out of here. And then we turn our eyes to Friday. Now, Friday does look to be a slightly better day. Thursday, another marginal risk for severe storms out there, as we showed you. 89 degrees, a hot day, too, ahead of those storms. Almost 90 degrees. By Friday, it's only a spotty chance. Not as widespread as what we're going to see outside today or tomorrow. Friday is our next driest day. You might have an opportunity, if you want to sweat it out, to get out there and get some yard work in. Try to do that Friday, because Saturday and Sunday, again, depending on what happens with that potential tropical system that's currently down in the Florida Panhandle, depending on what happens with that, Saturday and Sunday look to be fairly waterlogged. Still not a washout. It's not going to be a washout, but there's a really good chance for more intense rainfall, especially if that tropical system, if this storm that we're going to see Saturday and Sunday taps into that, we're talking a lot of rainfall. Here's Friday. Again, spotty. Yes, it's not rain-free, but it's still better than what we're going to see outside today and tomorrow. No risk for severe weather yet on Friday. Here's Saturday. And you note there's a lot more yellow showing up here on this particular image. Let me see if I can do this, or if it's going to hate me. I'm going to see if it'll still show up if I put this into build mode and zoom out just a bit. Here we go. Let's try this. All right, so let's keep an eye down here to the south, too. Down here near the New Orleans area. You know, hold on. Keyframes are hard. Let me delete that and try again. All right, hold on. Let's do this. Still seeing it? We're still seeing it. All right. So there's that disturbance down in the Gulf, right there in New Orleans, that big yellow spot, right? That's that potential tropical system we'll keep an eye on as it works its way through the day tomorrow across Gulf waters and over towards Louisiana. We'll keep an eye on that spot, and you'll see that it slowly starts to slide up. We're already seeing our spotty chance here on Friday, and at that point, it looks like it's somewhere between Dallas and Jackson. Jackson, Mississippi, Dallas, Texas there. That's kind of where the center of that system is. I do not have pressure turned on, or it would be easier to see it. But either way, we'll keep our eyes on that spot. You can see it kind of falls apart in this particular model, so that's a bad example for Saturday and Sunday. But the time frame for it to arrive here in the tri-state, I don't know why I even tried this. Let's go and switch the models real quick. Is this going to show what I want? It should. There we go. All right, so this one here, again, taking that storm, keeping our eyes down there in Louisiana where that blob is, and then it kind of moves its way up and gets swept away into our storm system. Again, similar forecast, intense rainfall there Saturday and Sunday with that increased flooding threat. So something to keep an eye on. Again, it's not going to be a tropical system when it gets here or anything. That's not the threat. The threat is that these tropical systems, even as depressions or, a post-tropical cyclone, which is what they do when they fall apart over land, they can still hold a lot of moisture. And so that's going to be something to watch just to see where it gets swept up. But the timing would be Saturday into Sunday. And, of course, with a cold front trying to sag down at the same time, that cooler air can't hold the moisture. It wrings it out like a sponge and then, just falls right over wherever that, they combine. And right now that is the Ohio Valley. So that's why we have an increased flooding threat there into Saturday and Sunday. So something to keep an eye on there. Let's talk rain totals. Let's see if there's any questions over here on the Book of Faces. Let's see. Cairo, Illinois, talking about flooding again. Yeah, can't rule it out. Yeah, Garnett, I'm glad somebody enjoys my terrible jokes. Somebody's got to do it. All right, what else we got here? One of the best day to take the kids to Kenton County Fair. I really think Friday is going to be probably your best day in the near term This weekend is going to be a mess, unfortunately. It just looks like a good scattering of storms out there Saturday and Sunday. They were asking what's the best day to take kids to the fair, or if you have kids and you're trying to get out of the house. Oh, I wouldn't know that. What that's like. If you are trying to do that, your best day is Friday. Spotty storms outside. It's not to say you can't find dry time like what we're seeing outside today, tomorrow, but Friday looks to be the next driest day. Saturday, Sunday, not so much. Here's the rainfall totals for the tri-state and kind of the Ohio Valley working our way through Saturday morning. This is before the arrival of that warm front Saturday and cold front into Sunday. So it's kind of a back-to-back frontal boundary system. That low is going to push right over our northernmost communities. So on the front end, we see a brief warm-up, a brief warm front. And then on the backside, a cold front's going to get close to us, but it's not going to pass us. But it will be cold enough that any moisture in the area, it's going to kind of wring it out, right? So here's what happens Saturday afternoon. You can see how quickly things start to pick up. So this is already indicating most areas are going to be on tap maybe the next 48 hours to see about an inch of rain. This isn't a high-res model. So grain of salt, it's not going to be widespread this amount, but when you start seeing it like this, you know, that's through the day Saturday, good amount of heavy rainfall. Some areas maybe now over 2 inches of rainfall. And then you see it continue to build with some red hot spots popping in there. That is a lot of rain, fairly widespread over the entirety of the Ohio Valley. So again, keeping our eyes on this. I don't know why the labels haven't gone away. There we go. That's a bunch of rain. So we'll keep our eyes on the river levels. You know, that is a lot of wet weather across the Ohio Valley expected through the middle of next week before things clear out. Especially there just off to our west and to our east. Pittsburgh, some of the orange there showing up. Same with Illinois, southwest Indiana. It's a lot of rain. Something to keep an eye on as we head into the weekend. Saturday, Sunday, not washouts. There will still be a few pockets of dry time, but certainly not as nice as what we are going to be seeing outside, let's see, through the day. So something to keep an eye on there. All right, let's see. Checking on the Facebook comments over here. See the sun. Yeah, the sun's out now, but again, we got some storms rolling in, so be aware of that. Dew points. We've been talking a lot about this. We had a lot of weather numbers talking about dew points in the 70-degree plus range out there. Just a subtle bit of relief there Monday and Tuesday, where we drop back to just humid instead of very humid. So relief, quote unquote, a little bit of it before we go right back up to tropical levels Tuesday into Wednesday. And then, well, you'll see what happens after that. Be careful what you wish for. I know it's been a lot of rain chances. For me, I'm kind of, I'm tired of saying the word rain. Yeah, I'd love to have a little hot streak or something different to talk about, but be careful. Here we go. Here are the temperatures. Rain-cooled temperatures are one benefit of having several days in a row of rain. It's been okay, right? Yeah, it's been still pretty hot and humid through the afternoon, but it could always be worse this time of the year. As a big ridge of high pressure tries to build in through the middle of this upcoming week, remember the big blue H, it doesn't just stand for happy this time of the year. It also stands for hot, hazy, and humid. And look what happens to the feels-like temperatures. Today, going to be a warm one out there. Some areas could see some triple-digit heat indices. Better rain chances keep us at maybe the low 90s this weekend, but look what happens next Wednesday. As it stands with this area of high pressure coming in, we have kind of a southwest wind regime that's going to be setting up in the middle of next week. It will push us into the mid-90s in several spots as early as maybe Wednesday or Thursday. Wednesday I have us at about 90 degrees. Thursday I have us a little warmer than that. And it could see some of our warmest temperature we've seen, so far this year, even more so than what we saw outside with a little heat streak in June. With that said, I don't think it lasts as long as the other ones, but it's definitely going to be noticeable outside by the middle of this upcoming week. Did I work on this graphic? If not, bear with me. I didn't. So ignore the FC Cincinnati logo there on Thursday because they definitely play today. Other than that, everything here in this forecast is accurate. I just didn't take the logo off, which is fine. Scattered storms Thursday. Our next driest day is Friday. Here, I can just fix this really quick, just so we don't confuse anybody thinking the game is going to be out there. Jen, I'll hop back and talk about those here in just a minute. Jen was asking how bad tomorrow's storms will be. Today and tomorrow both have a chance for some stronger storms outside. Let's see. Here's your 7-day. And we'll save that real quick so it updates the website. And then I'll load this back in there for you. Bear with me. Doing things on the fly today. Tomorrow, both today and tomorrow have a chance to see severe weather. Both days are a marginal risk. It's a 1 out of 5 on our severe weather scale, so it's a low-end threat. And if we see any kind of severe weather, it will be damaging wind. So that's what we're keeping an eye on when it comes to severe weather outside. Today, tomorrow, both. And then Friday's our next driest day there, 84. Temperatures roll up a little bit through Saturday into Sunday because a warm front will come in, but then a cold front just kind of stalls out just up to our north, keeping things seasonable Sunday to Monday. Remember, Saturday, Sunday, both of those days, we have from the Weather Prediction Center a slight risk, different kind of risk, same names, slight risk for excessive rainfall. What that means is we will see an enhanced risk for flash flooding Saturday and Sunday. Some areas could quickly pick up several inches of rainfall with slow-moving training storms out there Saturday and Sunday and just hefty rainfall totals overall. So that is what we're keeping an eye on in the weekend. Marginal risk, low-end threat, 1 out of 5 today, tomorrow for severe storms, damaging wind. Then it turns to a flooding threat for Saturday and Sunday. In between, Friday, some spotty storms. Monday, storms are mostly going to be in the morning hours, and then the rest of the day looks okay. And we'll catch a little bit of a humidity break there Monday into Tuesday. That cold front's close enough to us. We'll see some slightly lower humidity values. So if you can hold off until Monday to get some of the yard work in, not a bad day, I think, by the afternoon hours. Mostly in the morning for that. Tuesday, things start to pick back up again. Wednesday, there's a chance for some spotty storms, but most of us are dry Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of next week. Again, be careful what you wish for because that means it's going to be hot. Feels like temperatures Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are likely to be in the triple digits. Very, very warm end to next week. When is the Butler County Fair? I don't know if anybody can answer that question, or I'm going to try to Google it. Oh, I clicked the button again. Hold on as I close out 70 tabs of forecasting. I'll be right back there with you. Let's see. Butler. The quick answer is July 20th to the 26th. So it's going to be starting, what is that, Sunday? Sunday through Friday of next week, Sunday through Saturday. So next week, all of next week, Sunday the 20th through Saturday the 26th is what I have for the Butler County Fair. The Kenton County Fair is happening, I think, this week, right? I think. I have a whole cheat sheet of this back in the weather office. Kenton County KY Fair is happening, 14th to the 19th. So that's underway. It ends on Saturday for the Kenton County Fair. That's down in Independence. So if you're heading to that, again, just keep the umbrella close by. I think Friday's your best night for that. Yeah, and the Butler County Fair next week. Looking hot by the end of it for sure, with some flooding issues that we're going to have to contend with there Saturday and Sunday. So with that, it is now 12:30-ish, almost. It's 12:28. One more recap, kind of the storm threat we're going to see outside today. We'll pull this back up. Get a drink. Between now and 1 o'clock, storms are expected to pop back up across the area with some of that heating we're seeing going on. Sunshine is kind of re-energizing the atmosphere. So through 1 to 2 o'clock, storms become fairly widespread. They'll continue through about 4 to 5 o'clock downtown. You can see that's when storms are expected to push right through the heart of the 275 loop, just in time for you to try to drive home. Because if the morning commute didn't get you, the evening one might. Then by 6 to 7 o'clock, good news for FC Cincinnati fans. Or fans of that other guy. If you're going to be out there through 7:30, just in time for the kick, I do think we're seeing some good weather. Now, this is just one run of one model. That certainly could be wrong, but we'll keep a close eye on it. It's looking better than it did yesterday to get the storms east of here by as early as 8 o'clock. I mean, the closest storms then are going to be in Brown County, hopefully. So that's good news there. Thursday, we rinse and repeat. More storms out there Thursday. And then Friday, things look to be a little bit more spotty outside. A lot of rain on the way for the weekend, just depending on what kind of happens with that tropical system. Again, it's not anything named. It's not an official tropical system yet. But there's always that chance it becomes a tropical depression or maybe even a tropical storm. We'll keep our eyes on that and let you know if it happens as it pushes through the northern Gulf waters, which are very warm this time of the year, because there is a chance it could swing back up our direction and just kind of enhance essentially our rainfall into the weekend, which is already expected to be bad. So let me go and put this up full screen so you can stop looking at my ugly mug. 89 outside today. It will be very, very warm. or sorry, 89 outside tomorrow. Very warm today, too. 89 tomorrow, even warmer tomorrow. And then we'll catch a little bit of a break with heavier rain chances Saturday and Sunday. And then next week, like I said, be careful what you wish for, because as we do start to dry back out and as high pressure starts to build back in, you can see that temperature starting to trend back into the 90s for the first time in a while. 90 outside Wednesday, feels like temperatures into the triple digits. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of next week. Get outside, enjoy some of the sun when you can. Watch out for flooding this weekend, and then stay cool next week. I'll be back again tomorrow here at noon. Well, no, 10 and 11. Steve's picking up the 3 and the 4, working on a little side project here this evening again, like I have been the last few weeks. It's going to be that same way all the way through July. So Steve's picking that up. You'll see him as early as 3 o'clock and run through this evening. So join us then. We'll be here for you. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody.